You look so good.
Oh, thank you.
You look like I'm either a sweaty mess or if it's a good day, I just got out of the shower for these and my hair is wet and then I look like a drowned rat. You look fantastic.
Thank you. Sometimes I clean up, sometimes.
No, and I saw that you had an expo over the weekend and I love seeing those pictures.
Yes, it was, I love going to expos because I get a chance to connect with customers and it's just very, especially with starting a new business, it's just seeing the reactions, getting the reviews, seeing the excitement. It's just like it gives me life. So it was a great showing. It was a great
Oh,
expo.
I love that. Okay. So I want to start with your story of, first of all, I feel like everybody should know that this business that you're starting is like something on the side. You have how many kids? 10,000? No.
Three.
I always feel like anything over two is a lot. You have three?
Yes, three feels like five. When I had two, I had a system, and then my third
Um,
one came along, and everything just. I feel like it's three against one, even though my husband is here, but.
That's interesting because I feel like most of the people that have more than two are like, oh, the third one just doesn't even count. It feels the same, or like, oh, the other kids are older and they help out. And I've always wondered about them. Like, I don't know. I don't don't feel like
No,
four could be easier.
it's not this well, not for me. I just feel like no, it's just a lot of, the older kids and then the younger one, there's a lot of fighting, attention.
That
So
is that's why I marvel at people that have three because we have two and they require so much attention and they fight if they don't get like the one-on-one attention and
yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I guess like my two kids are not easygoing and so they're not chill, like which is wonderful, but it makes it difficult to parent oftentimes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, maybe if we had like an easygoing, chill child, it would be different, but neither one of
I
them.
know. I know.
Okay, so
Mine are
you're a mom of three. How old are your kids?
so my oldest is 12. He's
Okay.
as tall as me, and I'm pretty tall. And my second is 10, and then my last is 6.
Okay, and there you have a son and then or two sons.
Yeah, 2 boys and 1 girl. Yeah. So I was
Okay.
looking for my princess, and so I went for the third time.
So she's the youngest and she's six.
Yes. Yes.
And then you're also an attorney, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you're one of those people I think is like, how does she have like, does she have extra time in the day to get done everything that she's doing? Um,
No, just take it one moment at a time.
that is like, I think that's something I will continually strive to do, like to just one moment at a time or even one day at a time. It's hard to do. I know that's like where the magic is, but it's hard.
Yeah, it's hard, and then you just have to forget yesterday. You have to forget the mistakes yesterday, forget the things you didn't get done yesterday, and just always live in the present. So I try to do that, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I try.
That is great advice right there. I didn't think that, I thought we would not just, but we would be talking about your business, but that's like beautiful advice. Just
Yeah,
forget.
well, that kind of ties into my frustrations with wanting to create something, because I'm always looking to save time. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to do 10 things at the same time. So yeah, that was one of the things, that tied into, I know we're going to that. I'm not gonna jump, but that
Oh
was one of
no,
the
please do.
that inspired me to create FittSafe.
Okay, so yeah, let's just dive right in.
Okay.
Yeah, how did it start and yeah, like what were your motivations behind it?
So it started during the pandemic, at that time. First of all, hats off to homeschoolers. I don't know how they do it because
Gosh.
My gosh. So, I was working full time. My husband was working full time and he was working out of the house. So, it was just me. I was already working from home prior to, the pandemic. So it wasn't anything new. But I was going to the office like 2 or 3 times a week. So, but it then transitioned to full time working from home and homeschooling 3 kids and running the household, and my youngest was potty trained at the time. So at a point I just felt overwhelmed. I just felt stuck. I had to, I was looking for an outlet, just something for myself. And of course, as busy moms is either early in the morning or evenings. So for me, it was early in the morning, and then I started going for, which I played track in high school. So I did do a lot of running, when I was younger. Um, so I not play track, I did track in high school. So I started going for walks. So I walk, run. I'm not a full-time runner yet. I'm slowly inching my way to that. So I started going for walks at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, and it was so refreshing. I would come back calmer, more, focused and ready to do the things that I needed to do for the day. And so I remember one of my walks, I think my husband was like, you're going about your business, but I think you should think about, your safety and, what you need to do if something happens, God forbid. Yeah. And I started thinking about it and I realized I didn't have a plan, And, I'm not trying to preach fear, but, we do have to be self-aware. And I just said, okay, typical me, I like things to be convenient. So I went online. I was like, surely there's an activewear that has everything that I need, because I hate looking for full-on sleeves and reflective vests and all of that stuff, So it's like, okay, I just need something that has all of the items that I was looking for. And I saw some options, but it wasn't good enough. And I just decided to make one.
Oh, I love that so much. Like I that's a window into how you're wired, I think, where you're
Oh, okay.
like you're already have so much on your plate, but you're like, this is a problem and I'm here to solve it and I'm passionate about it. And so,
Mhm.
okay, so tell everyone what FittSafe is, like how it solves the problem, the void that needed to be filled when you were looking online and you weren't able to find what you needed.
So FitSafe is like your one-stop set. So it's like everything you need in one. So it's going to provide you support, for especially for my heavy-chested ladies, it's going to give you that compression and support that you need. It's going to give you real pockets, like I like to call it, for you to store all of your essentials. It's going to eliminate the need for multiple running accessories. Like if you see a typical get ready with me, you're putting on the vest, you're putting on all of these extra things. And if it's your thing, that's fine. But for me, I was just looking for a one-stop solution where you can just put it on and go. And that's what we're trying to solve. And more importantly, I feel like the outdoors are just so special and nature has a lot of healing power. So I'm really passionate about women just being able to just go outside and do their thing on their time, and just really enjoy. If you like running solo, really enjoy running without fear of being harassed or without fear of, just doing it safely. And so that's where FitSafe comes in. We want to give you that peace of mind. We want to give you that save you time, and we want to give you that functionality. So the sports bra is not just a fashionable item. It looks good, but it works. So that way you're not having that bounce and jiggle while you're running, and you have everything that you need to stay safe.
Yeah, I didn't think about the time component. Like I know I've told you that I love your clothing because first of all, it has lots of pockets and they're beautifully placed. Like I love so much that the pocket on the sports bra is underneath the chest
Yes.
because or the nipple line because I don't know. I don't like having pockets up here on my chest, or I can never like run and reach behind me, which is where most of the sports bras
Mhm.
pockets are. And then for marathoning, where to put all the gels is a common conundrum. Like I have so many of my athletes that I coach who are like, where do I mean, if you're running a 4-hour marathon, you need like 8 to 10 gels. And they're like, where do I put them all? And your clothing helps solve that problem. But I didn't think about the time element. Like you're right. I mean, if you are a busy mom and you only have like 20 or 30 minutes to go out the door, you don't waste like 10 minutes running around trying to find the vest and the belt and yeah, like and the reflective gear and all that. So you're right. I didn't even think about that. FittSafe is like a one-stop shop because it's got all the pockets and the
Yes.
reflective gear and it's supportive and it's pretty and it's comfy and it's got a little bit of a compression too, right?
Yes. So when I was trying out, when I was testing out the samples, I remember one of my friends, she said, you have to make sure this works for ladies that are heavy chested. It can't just be a pretty bra. And so I remember sending it to her and she tested it out and she came back with like fabulous reviews. And my sister, my youngest sister, is very blessed in that area. So she was my prototype.
That's how my sister is too. I am not,
Yes.
yeah, like she is my, yeah.
Right. So I was like, and she's very skinny. And so she was just like, I was like, okay, if it works for you and it works for my friend, which is a little bit chunkier, I said, okay, I feel like this will work. And at the expo, one of the vendors actually, she asked me, she was like, is this a high impact sports bra? And I said, yes. And so she came by and she had a really small flimsy bra, but it was a sports bra. And she said, oh, I'm going to try it on top of this. And she said, well, I like to buy running clothes that work, not necessarily for style. And
Mhm.
she said, I'm going to put this to the test. And I said, yeah, you can. And so we had all the women and like all the people watching. And I was like, this is the moment of truth. You better work. And so she put it on and she started jumping and she's like, it works. And I was like, okay, I wish I caught this on tape.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
And she bought two. She's like, no, I've been looking for something that supports me, that won't bounce up and down. And so he has that compression, but it's comfortable at the same time. So that was a proud moment for me.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Really.
That's yes. You somehow need to recreate that. And
Yes, right.
so what's next? I know that we've been okay, so first, will you talk about what you offer right now? And then I'd love to talk about what's next because I know that you're looking at expanding your line and having different iterations of what you offer.
Yeah, so we started just with the sports bra and leggings because for me, even though it was a problem for me, I really wanted to understand my customers because I'm passionate about giving value. Not just, yes, you're in business to make money, but I'm in business to make money and solve problems. More importantly, solve problems.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to start out small, and that's why we had only three colors. One was super bright for my very bright ladies. The green cater to the neutral. You want to do color, but you're not sure. And of course, black is a standard. So I wanted to start small, and that way I can get feedback from customers, which going to these expos is like priceless because you get to speak to hundreds and hundreds of potential customers and real customers, and then you get reviews afterwards. So we wanted to start small, but yeah, so we started with the leggings and the sports bra just to get real-time data of what the customers want. Because even with this journey, I found things that I wasn't thinking about just from speaking to real people. So you can make assumptions all you want about what people want, but until you put yourself in front of the customers, that's when you begin to find out what they're looking for.
Do you have a system in place of like, okay, this is a kind of a common theme of what people are saying they want versus like this is a very individual opinion?
The system that I'm seeing is women are looking for activewear for real women.
Hmm.
Everyone is skinny. Not everyone has the abs. So they want something that makes them feel sexy, but at the same time is not making them look it's not looking so obvious that, oh, I need to lose weight or I need to work. You can even you can look fit, but then have areas that you want to work on. So
Yeah.
the common thread that I'm finding is people want clothes that work and makes them feel and look good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes.
So you're looking ahead at making those changes and then also having, I know you talked about you're going to be adding patterns and maybe some more colors and
Yes, and I'm seeing that women love colors, and a lot of the women love the length
hmm
of sports bra, which that was what I had in mind when I made it, but then I would question myself, like, should I have made it shorter? But then going to these expos, a lot of my customers love the length. And so that's something that I have learned from speaking to real-time customers.
Yeah, I think that's what makes your sports bra really stand out is because without that extra fabric underneath the chest, you wouldn't be able to put the pocket there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then otherwise, like if you do offer it, like I told you, I wear a Lululemon that has pockets on the front, which I don't
Mhm.
love because I can't think that it's, I don't know, healthy to run with my phone there all the time, but I love the ease of access to grab my phone. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's, yeah, it's tricky. There's no simple solution, but from what I know, you offer the only sports bra where it's conveniently placed underneath and it's still cute because it's still cropped. Um,
Right.
and then that makes it like versatile too for the weather. Um, when you say is this a solo venture or do you have help?
No, so when I say we, it's the attorney side of me, because the business
Ah,
is it's a person. So when I say me, I'm speaking of FittSafe as a
I love
person.
it. Well, I'm sure I feel confident that it will grow and that you will have a team. Um,
Yes.
but is there anything that you want to add that we didn't talk about?
Yeah, just we're gonna be adding shorts and tanks and tees in the
Ooh.
summer, and
Oh,
they
that's
are all gonna
exciting.
have yes, it's very exciting, and they're all gonna have functional pockets. And they're gonna come in bright colors and have all of the reflective materials to keep you safe. And so watch out and stay tuned for that.
Watch out. I love that. Actually, before I let you go, I am so curious how you were able to, I mean, you came from a baseline of knowledge of zero and
Yeah.
starting a clothing company. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sure there's a lot to speak on this topic, but how did you go about figuring out, okay, how do I design this? Where do I find the fabric? How do I find a manufacturer? I mean, just that's a ton of work.
Yes, it's a ton of work, but it started with the idea just never left my head. So I would research, face a lot of frustrations, but it just refused to go away. And then with all of the cases that I would hear on the news, and it would just be like more fire to my belly on, women being assaulted. And I just feel like, okay, I need to do this. And I remember telling my husband one time, it's like, if I fail, I fail, but I just need to do this. And so I just started looking. And one thing about the way this world works is if you have an idea and you zero into it, information begins to come to you. And that's just, you start to, and then all of a sudden, I'm looking at, a random lady on the street and I'm looking at the activewear and I'm thinking about all the things that I would love to add to mine. And then, all of a sudden, everything around you is speaking to you
Mhm.
about that idea. And that's how, so it's just, letting it, I feel like the biggest hump is mental. Once you overcome that with the internet and, being able to get information, you're well on your way. But the biggest hump is the mental part. You have
Yeah,
to, yeah, you have
that's where
to,
your one moment at a time probably really helps you.
yes, and you have to be willing to fail and you have to be willing to look silly.
Have you ever done anything like this? Well, you're definitely not looking silly. Have you ever done anything like this before? As far as like you have an idea that's, as I would call it, a bee in your bonnet. I don't know, that's my saying.
Right.
can't let it go and you take a risk. Is this like so
So I
thing for faith?
so I have had, this is my third idea.
Okay.
And that's why I was like, I am going to do this. And it's crazy, like in between the ideas, 7 years. Exactly. So the first one, I had this big idea. And if I had done it, it blew up 3 years after I had that idea. So if I had jumped on it, but the mistake that I made was telling someone and they just talked me out of it. And that was it. And then I
Oh,
had, yes. And then it took 7 years. And then I had my second son and I had an idea for products. Well, I had a prototype that I made for him that helped him sleep through the night. But I just didn't know how to, because it was years ago. I just didn't know how to bring it to life. And so that went away and it took another 7 years. And now this one came to me and I was like,
you're like, this is my chance. Third time's a charm.
yes, and I said, I'm just going, I'm going for it. And yeah, here we are.
Oh, that is so cool. So I bet there's going to be more. You're going to be a serial entrepreneur, inventor. I
But
love,
it runs in my family. So when I
oh,
was
okay.
8 years old, yeah, my mom, funny enough, she sells textiles and fabrics, but
Oh,
fa-
okay.
like crystals that you can use to make couture evening gowns. And
Uh-huh.
so I grew up watching that. So I guess that's where the whole
Oh,
entrepreneurial spirit came from.
oh, that's so cool. So are you able to talk to her and get advice from her?
Yes, because it's funny because when she started, she really didn't have any money. And I saw her, she started baking. She would bake cakes and pastries and sell. She would take them to schools and sell to the teachers. And over like 3 months, she raised the money. And she went from, I kid you not, starting her business with like $100. When she started, we were in a little store in somebody else's store, so she was paying him rent. And she was just making a little bit of gain because she would have to go to the local market to get the stuff and then make a little bit of gain. And we went from that tiny space to a little store to a huge store. And so she went from starting a business with $100 to becoming a multi-millionaire. And I saw this over, yeah. So I saw this and it was a consistent business that she ran for 10 plus years. So even when I was in college, I was the one that for some reason of all of my siblings, I was the one that, went to the store consistently. So I guess I learned from watching and I would always tell her, seems like you spend less the richer you get. And she said, no, I put everything back into the business. And
Ah,
that's why she was able to grow so fast. And so watching my mom made me know that lean business is possible. Like you can start small and then just grow gradually. And sometimes having little resources is a blessing because then you learn to be creative.
oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
now you need to teach like an entrepreneurial course too.
No.
Like I'm like filing this all away for the mother runners and like how to grow them. So, that's awesome. Wow. That's so cool. Like that you got
Yeah.
to see that and it's been
Yeah.
imprinted on you and here you are. So I very much look forward to watching FittSafe grow and seeing your new offerings this summer. And I'm so glad that we connected. And
Yes.
yeah, and any way that we can help spread the word. I'm saying we, it's just me, but I'm picking up on
Right.
that we here at the Mother Runners can help spread the
Right.
word because it's such a wonderful product and like it's not only functional and practical, but it makes us safer. I'm here for it. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
And thank you so much, Whitney, because I say this all the time. Like I took a chance and sent you a random DM, and you were so gracious and have been extremely supportive, and you refused to charge me any money. And I
I
just,
got a really awesome outfit out of this. So,
no, but still, I am really thankful. Like, you don't know what you've done for us,
oh,
us. FittSafe.
All the fakes in the world.
So yeah, I always, I never, I like to always say thank you anytime I get the opportunity to. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm really glad that you reached out because it was it's the pockets are a problem. So, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely interested in this. And then you turn out to be this wonderful person, you know. So
Thank you.
well, it's been great chatting with you and learning a little bit more about your story. And I know we will be in touch.
Yes, yes, we will. Thank you so much
Thank
for having me.
you.